Hey guys, so today's video is on Brewmaster Monk's damage. In this case, it would be Master of Harmonies. I'll be explaining some basic rotations or some things that kind of get you started along the right direction, but I know there's a couple of videos out there that are probably better at explaining it, but I just want to point out a couple of things. One, you don't really have a set rotation. You have what's called priority, right? And this priority is based around this blackout combo, right? So blackout kick empowers any of the basic abilities that you have. So for example, Tiger Palm 100% more damage, Breath of Fire 50% damage, and increases the damage you take by 5% more. So instead of 5%, now it's a 10% damage reduction. Keg Smash reduces the cooldown of your brews by 2 more seconds, and Celestial Brew, you gain 3 additional stacks of Purified Chi. Purifying Brew pauses stagger damage for 3 seconds. Now, a couple of things. One, I know a lot of people say, oh, Blackout combo should be used always on Tiger Palm. Not true. I'll be explaining a couple reasons and situations where it can be used for other reasons. So pressing any of the abilities that are on this don't make it necessarily bad, but it's more of it gives you the ability to make a conscious decision of whether or not you want more survivability or more damage, which means that in certain situations you want to pick one over the other, right? Now, starting on this training dumbing, um, the basic rotation is this, right? On anything. So, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick into Breath of Fire. Reason you do that is you have a 10% damage reduction on the mobs or on the boss immediately, and then Raising Sun Kick into the next Keg Smash into Blackout Kick into Tiger Palm. Here we got the proc, so we do Blackout Kick into Tiger Palm again. After that, you always have to make sure that you're using Rising Sun Kick on cooldown. And the reason for that is, it's because this does a lot of damage, right? It's one of our more basic strong damage dealing abilities. This paired with Chi Burst and even Blackout Kick when it crits deals a lot of damage. So what you want to do is, I'll do uh, a rotation so you can kind of see. And also at the same time, I want you to pay attention to my aspect of harmony vitality that's being stored, right? Just trying to back away from this. The reason I'm doing it on these dummies is because I want to take damage so you guys can see also the reason for what I'm doing. Okay, so here we go. We're running into the boss. I'll taunt it. Keg Smash, Blackout Kick into Breath of Fire, Rising Sun Kick, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, Tiger's Palm. Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, Tiger's Palm into Rising Sun Kick. This is already on a low cooldown. Keg Smash again, Blackout Kick, and now you Breath of Fire again to make sure that you keep this debuff at 10%. Sometimes that's not exactly what's going to happen, right? Sometimes you'll have Keg Smash and you can Fire Breath, but it will override the 10% with a 5%, right? Now, we've done 2 whole rotations and we already have 28% of our aspect of harmony stacked, right? Sometimes, as you can see here, I'm taking a lot of damage, right? So sometimes you're going to want to use it defensively. So this boss isn't going to give us enough we're not going to take enough damage to stack enough Purifying Brew, but this is what you'll do. So go in, taunt, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick into Fire Breath, Rising Sun Kick, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick into Tiger Palm, and Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, and you need a defensive Celestial Brew with Blackout combo. Now you have higher absorb. If you noticed in my first one, I only had a 2.2 million absorb. That gave me 3 stacks of Purified Chi, which brought it up to around 4.7 million. So now that's already 2 rotations that you can do, right? The first one is pretty standard, in which you're using all of your abilities to deal damage and then the second one you're using them to be a little bit more defensive. That's what I mean when I say like blackout combo can be used offensively and defensively, right? Now, when we're dealing with multiple packs and we're taking multiple amounts of damage, it changes a little bit more, right? So here we're going to run in Keg Smash, Blackout Kick into Fire Breath, Rising Sun Kick, Keg Smash again, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, into Chi Burst, into Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm. Nothing's on cooldown, so we use Exploding Keg, Rising Sun Kick, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, Tiger's Palm. And then you Breath of Fire as soon as the debuff is about to come off again, right? And then you kind of repeat. I know it's a lot to kind of keep in, like, take in order, but essentially what you're doing is you're weaving everything around Blackout Kick, right? So let's say I have, so again, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick into Fire, Breath of Fire, Rising Sun Kick, Keg Smash. Blackout Kick is up, but I don't have a Keg Smash, so I use Tiger's Palm. Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, Tiger's Palm. I have nothing else, so I'll have to use Breath of Fire. Blackout Kick, Keg Smash was going to come up, but I'll use it on Tiger's Palm because Keg Smash wasn't going to be up in time for me to use it. So that's the whole mentality there of saving Blackout Kick, Blackout combo for Tiger's Palm. Doesn't really apply to it too often. It's just only when Keg Smash isn't on cooldown. So that's one thing, right? Let me clear my vitality really quick. Now the other thing is that sometimes we don't really have too much control over what's happening, right? So I'm going to switch over to some video clips now where I'm going to show you how to gather mobs and how building your aspect of harmony and then using that with Celestial Brew to dish out a little bit more damage works, along with Chi Burst and Exploding Keg. Now, to kind of understand how we do all of our damage, we have to understand a couple of things. Well, just kind of like three mainly. One would be our keystone talent, which is Aspect of Harmony. This just in essence means that every time we deal damage or heal ourselves, whether it's with Expel Harm or our Vivify, we are storing some of that away so that we can use it later on whenever we use Celestial Brew. It'll do a couple of things. One, it'll place a ticking dot on the mobs who get hit for extra damage. And it'll also give us an extra 20% increased damage or healing on anything that's being damaged by this dot. And this is all thanks to our capstone coalescence. So now that we understand the first two parts, we add in the third, which is overwhelming force. So this means Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, and Tiger Palm deal 25% additional damage to enemies in a line. Now, in the clip that I'll be showing in a little bit, I tell you that it's important to backpedal. The reason for backpedaling is it helps gather all the mobs in front of you. And the reason you want to do that is you want your three main DPS abilities to hit all of them so that you can cleave them for more damage. And this is where the cycle starts. Because you're using Blackout Kick the most thanks to your 4-piece, it's dealing 25% additional damage that stores 15% of that as vitality from your aspect of harmony, which will then be dispersed as a dot amongst all of the mobs in front of you thanks to your Celestial Brew, which means that now those mobs are taking 20% increased damage from all of your abilities. But something to keep in mind is that you will not be stacking vitality until this aspect of harmony buff goes away. So don't think that you'll be double dipping during these periods to accumulate more vitality. That's not how this works. And so now that we know how our talents or these components help make up our DPS output, I'll be showing you a clip and explaining what I do to tank DPS and use my defensives. Now this clip is from 18 Darkflame Clefs that I did. It's from the last video I uploaded. And I'm going to show you how I gather the mobs to make sure that I have just the decent amount of threat so that they all gather around me and the DPS don't pull. And something I want you to look out for as well is how I'm gathering, I'm also backpedaling. The reason for that is that it helps the mobs stack up in front of me so that I can cleave them and get more vitality. So first, dark kick smash into another kick smash, blackout kick the candle, and then breath of fire to get some damage reduction into that pack. But as you can see, um, I've already used up all of my abilities. I don't have anything else to use other than blackout combo, breath of fire, and rising sun kick, right? So we're in a pretty difficult situation, right? We're at less than 40% or 40% health, and we need to not die because now we have around 10 mobs hitting us. So now we're going to start playing defensively. I'll slow the clip down so you can see. So here, what I want to do is expel harm to heal myself. I see that I have 2 orbs, so it'll be a decent heal, followed by blackout kick into purify so that I can pause my stagger, right? I don't have it up, so I use Blackout's brew. And then because I purify, you can see that I have 6 charges of purified chi, which means that my next celestial brew will be at its maximum. And if you look at my aspect of harmony bar on the left, it's at 47%. So that's 9.7 mil extra damage I'll be doing while also maintaining myself up. So when the clip continues, you'll see that it helps me stabilize myself because now we've survived a majority of the big hits from the mobs. So now I have a large absorb on myself. I use the defensive there for any magic damage, and then exploding keg for any physical damage. Now, because I've stabilized myself, the next thing that I do is I use chi bursts for 2 reasons. One, to help collect more aspect of harmony for my Celestial Brew use to pump out more damage, and 2, to help any of the melee DPS get some healing in. They don't need it now, but in some situations they do, and that's why it's important to use Chi Burst on cooldown, because it's a lot of extra damage, it helps you pile up a lot of aspect of harmony, and it's extra healing. So here I decide to pull the next Wandering Candle because I feel like I'm stabilized. But as we're Brewmasters, we take a lot of damage. And again, I repeat the same rotation again. Expel Harm for healing into Blackout Kick to either purify or use the Celestial Brew, right? Ring of Peace can be used defensively there to push out the smaller melee mobs. And 2 things happen here. One, I use Weapons of Order defensively and offensively, and I also use Dampen Harm to help with the damage intake. Now, Weapons of Order does 2 things. It gives us 9% extra mastery and 8% increased damage on any mobs that get hit with Keck Smash, right? Now, 9% extra mastery also means that we get 9% extra dodge from Elusive Brawler, our mastery, which gives us a dodge chance every time we get hit. So apart from also getting 8% extra damage, we're also getting a 9% dodge defensive. But also, getting 9% mastery means that we also get 9% extra attack power. This means that we are also putting out more damage now on the mobs apart from the 8% increased damage that they take every time we Keck Smash them, up to 32% extra damage. Now, we're also adding the 15% mastery bonus that we get from training of Niuzao. Now, again, mastery gives us dodge and it also gives us attack power. Now, the way this talent works is on light stagger, it gives us 5% extra mastery. On moderate stagger, it gives us 10%. And then on heavy stagger, we get the full 15% from this talent. That's why the top brewmasters will quote unquote ride the heavy stagger so that they can get the most out of the 15% mastery bonus. They feel comfortable enough where they know that they won't die to the ticking stagger and they'll be able to keep themselves up with the self healing. So here we have another moment of danger, but as you'll see, 2 things happen here. One, my mastery goes up to 42.71%. This is from having moderate stagger, so that means I get 10% extra mastery, and also from using a tempered potion and having the weapons of order buff for another 9% mastery. This could go up a further 5% when I dip into heavy stagger. The other thing is that my Celestial Brew now absorbs a little bit more, and this is because the mastery increase also increased their attack power, which scales into Celestial Brew. As you can see, when I had the first moment of danger, my Celestial Brew was only absorbing up to 7.6 million damage, and now it's absorbing 8.2 million damage. So the extra 12% mastery really does make a difference defensively as well. So because I used Celestial Brew, it used up all of my vitality for attack damage. Now, Chi Burst is coming up, and I use it, and pay attention to the aspect of Harmony bar on my left. It went roughly from 13% up to about 43%. So it gave me 30% more vitality. So that's why it's very important to use Chi Burst on cooldown. And as you can see, my DPS also went up a fair amount. Keeping in mind that my DPS isn't top damage. Compared to other brewmasters who do pulls like these, where they're sitting at roughly 4 million, I'm sitting anywhere from 2.5 to 3.2 million. So again, I need to work on my DPS as well, but I know that I'm dealing enough damage to time these keys with just a good amount of basic understanding of the brewmaster abilities, passives, and talents that we are given. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. I know that I explained some concepts and things that a lot of you might know, but to newer brewmasters, they probably don't. So it kind of gives them a good idea of how everything works in conjunction together. Hopefully, this helps you improve your DPS. If you have any more questions or if there was something that wasn't too clear, I'll be glad to answer in the comments or I'll make a YouTube short to answer. Catch you in the next video. Thank you so much.